to the ESPC show, and as ever, it's Paul and it's...
Megan,
you need to be a bit higher. So today, interesting chat. I always say that. I'm going to have to come up with a new line. But it really is. We talk to Claire Duff, international moving consultant, and we talk about all things removals.
Yeah, so Claire is from Doree Bonner International, who are, as you said, a removals company, and they do storage solutions as well. But it was really interesting to learn all about the services that they provide.
Would you, because, I mean, we spoke about them shipping to US, Australia, Italy, but they have this other service where they wrap things for you, put everything neat. Would you go for that if you're going to move?
I don't. It's a nice thought, isn't it?
Yeah.
To not really have to stress
Just
at all about your move.
Put all them in the box for me.
Yeah, I know. It's an interesting service.
I can see the value in it. Having bubble wrap stuff over the years myself, I think I can quite get used to somebody just doing it all for me.
I think it's something that a lot of people quite enjoy packing up. You know, I think you find a lot of things you forget you had.
Yeah, it's good for the soul. And equally, I think it makes you prompt yourself to move things out. They talk about a decluttering service as well.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. They talk about, almost way in advance of moving, maybe when you first go on the market, that they can take some of the trinkets, we all got them and we all got that clutter, and they'll take them and put them into storage for you. So it means that when you are selling your property, it's a little bit cleaner and there's more space and it's not quite as cluttered, because we know that helps when you're selling.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think everything that Claire mentioned was really useful, especially if you're currently in that kind of stage where you're either a way to put your home on the market or you're sold and you're getting ready to move. I think she's got some really nice pieces of advice, and if you're looking for any removals help, then the Doree Bonner can help.
Yeah, and the logo includes a cat, so who doesn't like a cat? The perfect move, as they say. Anyway, let's dive straight in. So here's our chat with Claire. So welcome to the ESPC show. Today we have Claire Duff, move consultant from Doree Bonner International, and we're underlining the word international. We're going to talk about that later, because you will ship anywhere in the world, we hear.
Correct.
So we'll be chatting about that. Right, probably first off, Claire, do you want to talk a little bit about what Doree Bonner is, what you do, and what services you offer? Yeah,
of course. So Doree Bonner International is one of the most recognised international removal companies in the UK, with an expert team of removals professionals and handpick reputation of overseas agents. We offer an entire range of products. We do local moves, domestic within the UK. We do storage, so we can store your effects, and again within the UK. We also offer office relocation, European moves, and also international, so anywhere in the world.
Okay, so if you've got it, you can move it?
Correct, yes.
Use that as your strapline.
Yes, great.
And we were chatting just at the start there about, often this starts with an assessment, doesn't it? An estimate of the scale of the job. And since COVID, you do a lot of that sort of virtually now, is that right?
Yep, so we do video surveys. It's an app that we use, very easy to download, and we walk around the house with the consultant. We're on the video with them. The customer can choose to show themselves or not, and they walk around and we just ask them questions as we go, very similar to us being in the house previously. But we're also more than welcome, happy to go out to the house as well. There are some people that prefer the home visits as well, so whatever suits the client. But the video surveys seem to be very popular because people are short of time and it suits their kind of lifestyle. We can do Saturdays or late nights as well.
Yeah, I often think, do you ever get to the point when something just won't go out of a room? You can't get a bed out. It got in there, but you can't get it out. Does that happen?
It does happen. We have had the case, if you have to move it out the windows or things like that. But we can. That's why it's good for us to assess it as well. Yeah. We can assess all that. Also on the video survey with Google Maps and everything, we assess the access. We check everything in advance. So things like that are all done in advance, and we can, arrange a handyman or anything that is required if it's a tight fit for anything.
Like a saw.
Yeah, correct.
I remember I had to get my sofa. It was orange. The orange was the colour back in the day, burnt orange, and they had to saw off the arm to get it out. I got it in. I don't know how I got it in. Couldn't get it out.
Oh no!
It was going in the skip anyway. The point is, I couldn't get out of the room.
Yeah, I had a unit like that when we moved into our flat. So it can be a bit of a nightmare. Yeah. But Claire, I think another thing we were going to chat through was the benefits of using a removal service like yourselves. What are those for anyone moving house?
The main kind of benefit is to reduce the stress for a client. You don't want it to be stressful or any way for them, because moving home is one of the most stressful things you probably will do, other than obviously marriage or a child. Moving home, you can can be stressful. So by choosing a professional moving company, that's the best thing to do, so that they can talk you through it step by step and arrange it all. Experienced staff's essential as well. If you've got an experienced team, an experienced crew, then they're going to arrive, they're going to know what they're doing, they're going to fully label it, pack it, wrap it, etc. Also with that in mind, you want to make sure that they're in something called the BER, which is the British Association of Removals. It's very important. That is something I would highly recommend, because we get it protects the customer but also protects us, that we have to do certain training and stay to certain aspects of it as well. Also insurance, that's a key factor. You want to look at insurance. We can offer optional insurances for the client to ensure the items are completely covered as well for their house.
So that'll be like breakages, scratches, anything that, and it's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to happen.
So just to make sure that it's all in place as well. Reliability as well, knowing that there's a professional moving team.
I suppose that's the worry, isn't it? You know, there is that, they don't turn up. And,
Yeah,
the removal van for the people moving in do.
Yeah.
And what happens then?
Yeah, and you want to make sure as well, as you'll be aware, all our staff are fully uniformed, fully ID'd. The vehicles are obviously all labelled and things, so you want to make sure that you feel comfortable with the staff that are in your house as well. So you get a phone call the day before to let you know what team are coming, the guys' names, everything like that. You have a team leader, which tends to be the driver. He's in charge, and he walks around the house before they even begin, just to put your mind at ease and make sure that everything that was agreed is still the same, because sometimes you've agreed at the survey that something's moving and then you've decided to sell it to the person buying the house. So it's all done very, very smoothly that way.
Sounds it. And in terms of a homeowner, how can they best prepare for a move? What should they do in advance of the move?
So in advance of the move, I would always recommend 4 to 6 weeks in advance getting in touch with ourselves and arranging a video survey or a home survey, and even just having a chat with us as well. Even if you don't know your moving dates, it's really important to make sure you contact us and at least get a quote. It's a free of charge, no obligation quote that we supply, and it just gives you what you really want to put together as the whole budget for the whole move, and the removal as part of it. So we can do that as early as you like. And then also, if you get the quote and you've got everything in place, then as soon as you get that move date, it's just a phone call rather than then still having to arrange everything.
And I guess you would never say, because I often wonder, because most people move on a Friday, and you think, surely that must be a really, really busy day for removals. And have you got enough staff to cope on a Friday?
So it is a common, and not as much now. I've been doing this for about 15 years myself, and it used to be the end of the month and the Friday, they were the busy times. We also used to have peak times and things with July and August, etc. Nowadays it's not as bad, but it still is the case. So I do always recommend, when I do a survey, I check the dates before I do and I speak to the customer and let them know, for example, that so many vehicles are left. We are a very large company. We have 2 branches in Scotland, one in Glasgow and one in Edinburgh. So it's very rare that we're at complete capacity straight away. But again, if that is the case, then we would give them a call and let them know that the dates are getting filled quite quickly, and they would recommend them booking in. We also offer something called a declutter service, which is really, really...
Can we sign up for that?
Which is really recommended to customers. And what we do is, it's actually very handy for the estate agents as well. What we do is we come into the house well advanced of the move. We declutter the home. We do it free of charge. We move it into store. We offer 4 weeks free storage based on 1 container. And it stays there, and it lets the estate agents take nicer pictures. It also declutters the house for the actual viewings and things like that, and it's all in advance of even the move
That's
going
good,
ahead.
isn't it?
Yeah. So customers like it, estate agents like it. It also, because as you can understand, people have to make it minimalistic looking for the photos and for people viewing the house, and you have to find places in the house to put it.
Absolutely.
So that's why we offer that service. And as I said, it is free of charge. The collection's free, and then what happens is the declutter, when we go to do the move, the declutter comes out with the move and then is moved into the new house.
And if you don't fancy doing your own bubble wrapping and packing, you can offer that as a service, can you?
So we offer, we can do as much or as little as you like us to do. We can do the full packing, wrapping, loading. We can arrange a handyman to dismantle all the furniture and reassemble it at the other end. We can do really as much as you like. We offer many different services. So it's really, a client can get a basic move from A to B, or they can get the full works, sit back and relax, and our team come in and do it all for you.
Wow. I suppose all you ask is on the day, anything that's going in the box is in that box when you turn up, hopefully.
Correct. And the boxes and things are labelled. The way it works out is we wrap and protect everything. We label it for the correct rooms. Then we move it into the corresponding rooms in the new house. So, for example, the kitchen boxes will be placed back into the kitchen. And then you can guide us if anything's moving. Obviously, a different house, different size. But we, in general, just mirror where we've took it from.
Sure. So the kettle, which is always the most important thing, I think. You need to
kettle,
know where your kettle is, right?
So Claire, we also mentioned at the start that you guys will work anywhere in the world. How do the international removals work?
So international, with the Garage to International Removals, we obviously will move you worldwide. We have, there's different ways you can do it, because some people want to move a few boxes overseas, some people want to move a full house. So again, it's exactly the same as domestic. We'll arrange a video survey or an on-site survey, and we'll give them a price for it. We have agents based throughout the whole of the world as well, in the corresponding countries. I myself have worked with Grace, which is our Australian agent. I worked over there for a year with them, and it's just creating relationships so that we're the leading company in the UK and they are in Australia, and it's so that we're mirroring the complete service. And with that in mind, they introduce themselves as soon as we introduce the client, and they have contact details with them as well. But we can do as much or as little, so we can do a full container, door to door. We can do a shared container, which reduces the cost, but it's a longer transit time, and they get an allocated section of the container. But bear in mind, it is only our customers in the one container. But we do as much or as little as the customer would like. And as I said, there's nowhere in the world we can't ship to.
What's the most remote or the most unusual place you've shipped to?
Question. There's been a few. I did one recently, and it was Italy, and it was a really remote area of Italy.
Uh-huh.
So it literally had to go. We got it over there, and then it had to go to another agent to get over. It was just very remote.
And then on a Vespa.
Yeah. And I remember when I sent the client the quote, she was also a bit surprised. But I think once she did the actual research and realised,
yeah, you had to relay it a few times to get there.
and I think she booked with herself and had to get moved. But I think once you do realise, sometimes if you get a bit of a comparison and then you see the difference between the moves. One thing obviously that is really, really important with international as well, it's very similar to BER, which is the British Roaches Removals. You've got FAME and FEDI, which FEDI are the regulations and the rights for everything you can ship into the country. They will be emailed to you, custom regulations and things. And FAME is just the accreditation like the BER, which is the international one. So it just puts the homeowner at ease that we've got these, because they are very important. As I said, our staff are fully trained, and we have to adhere to these standards to stay in there. If you don't, we obviously have our own personal training school as well, and we just make sure the guys are fully regularly trained.
Okay, good. And sometimes in an ideal world, you move out of one house, you move into the next house the same day. It doesn't always happen. So what happens in that situation? I guess you can provide storage. You've already mentioned that. How's that work, and what's the sort of cost of that?
Of course, so storage is very easy to do, and to be honest with you, my advice would be to select a removal company that has a storage facility. With that in mind, if you don't select a removal company that doesn't have any storage, and for any reason on the day you have to be out of your current property and you don't get the keys for the new property, where's the stuff going? So if you select a removal company that has a storage facility, it's peace of mind as well as a backup.
Yeah.
We are also more than happy to give you the worst case scenario and give you the price for the storage and give you the cost and things as well. But our storage facility, storage containers we use as well, they are BAR recommended as well, so they are 7 foot by 5 foot by 5 foot. Now the way that they work is our vehicles are designed in a way that containers fit into the vehicle. They're wooden storage containers, and they're forklifted in and out.
Oh, right.
So they're loaded, and as they're loaded, a full inventory is taken of all the items with the container number, and then we move on to the next one. The advantage to this is when it goes back to our storage facility, it's then forklifted and placed away until the customer needs it. And as I said, the advantage to this is you're not handling the furniture too many times, because obviously that's where damages in human error can occur. So it's a good way to do it. It's CCTV and protected, and as I said, we've got branches throughout the whole of the UK.
And if you're missing seeing your sofa or your TV, can people visit the storage facility?
Yeah, you can attend at any time. You just
or
give us a
take
call.
little bits and pieces out.
You can take things out. Our storeman's there every day, so he'll do it for you. And he'll get the container down, he'll get it ready. So you just give us a call, let us know that you're planning on coming in, and we'll get it all prepared and ready for you. As you can imagine, we have long-term storage customers and things like that as well.
Do you get people that may be going overseas for a year or two and just leave it in storage?
Very common, or sometimes what people do is they'll leave some of their stuff, but not all. So we have a bit of that. We have people that store stuff for years on end. It just is a mix of stuff, but very easy for us to do. And again, something like that, I would just recommend the survey. We'll give you costs up front as well and things, so that you're fully aware of it. It's not necessarily, it's very different. As I said, it's containerised storage. It's not a stealth storage facility, so you don't get a key and you don't have regular access. It's actually very secure, so it's CCTV protected. And as I said, we have our own staff that will help you and assist you. So it is a very different service from the kind of standard.
Good stuff.
So I get another thing we were thinking about chatting through were your top tips for a smooth home move. So Claire, I don't know if you want to chat us through what those might be.
Of course. So I would direct you obviously to the Doree Bonner International website. Our top 10 tips are there. The main ones, obviously I'll point out a few. We recommend that people always ask friends and family. Ask them for recommendation. If you moved recently, or who did you move with? Because it's always good to know. And to be honest with you, you'll always get a good advice from a family member or a colleague. And there's always somebody that's moved recently. Everybody's always moving house. Plan well in advance. I would always say 4 to 6 weeks. Not saying no if you were last minute or anything, we would still be able to assist you, but more just for a peace of mind and for you to relax in the whole process. You want it to be as stress free as you can. So that was what I would recommend. Always use a moving company for the BER. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I would be honest, it is key. The British Association of Removal is very important. As I did mention, we've got all the FEDI, the FAME and the BER, and these are accreditation companies. We're amongst the top 600 movers in the world that have all three.
Wow.
So it is very important. So I would just make sure that they have a look at it. If you're comparing quotes, you're not necessarily comparing them like for like if they're not in the BER as well. So you've just got to watch that. Remember, make arrangements for like your children, pets, things like that in advance of the move. Last thing you'd want is the guys to arrive and a dog or a cat or anything gets out. You're better to arrange all that in advance. Passports, important documents, any paperwork, keep it out of place, in a safe place. Make sure it's not anywhere that the guys won't see or wrap. For example, most people keep them in their bedside cabinet. The bedside cabinet may just be wrapped. We had a customer recently that did leave his passports, so we just have to obtain them. But as you can imagine, it's all wrapped and placed away, so then you've got to go through. So I'd say paperwork, anything important to you, keep it out of the way, make sure it's very important. And then also, you mentioned it previously, toaster, kettle, keep a box with tea bags, kettle, toaster, and keep it so that at this property or the next property you can get a good cup of tea or anything.
It's always a good start, isn't it?
Yeah, we also do that as well. The beds and things tend to be the last thing on the vehicle, so that they're the first thing off.
Okay, yeah.
With that in mind, it's just in case there's any delays or issues with keys, and for any reason you get them so late that we can only deliver your beds and your toaster and kettle, it means that you're comfortable overnight to stay in the house, but then we'll arrive the next morning with the rest of the effects. It's a good way to do it when there's key exchange on the day.
Brilliant. Claire, I've learnt a lot. I always say that, but I really have. I always do, but that was great.
That was really good. That was great. Thanks so much for coming on and chatting to us.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to mention.
Just to point out, we do a lot of referral schemes with estate agents and things like that. If a customer was looking, my recommendation would be to look at if your estate agent has any of the referral schemes or anything with a removal company, because if you're using a professional estate agent and then getting past the professional removal company and they're linked, then you're getting the whole nice experience right the way through. So we are linked with a lot, so it's good to do that and peace of mind. And if you're linked, then they're recommending both, which is always good. And then you know that the move will be in safe hands.
So I'm sure with ESPC and our solicitor estate agent network, over 140, there's probably some links there, you say?
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Brilliant. Okay, thank you, Claire. That's great.
Thanks you so much.
Okay, so there you go. That was our chat with Claire, and we covered a wide range of topics there, and we know now Friday is a busy day for them, so book well in advance. And if you're going to move to Italy, it may be more expensive, you know.
Yeah, it depends how rural you're going.
Sounds it.
Yeah, so that was our second last episode of the series, which, can you believe it? We've had, I can't actually remember what number of episodes this is off the top of my head, but I think we're sitting at 16 episodes so far. So yeah, if you have been enjoying the show, please, we would love it if you could leave a review or a rating. And if you've got any feedback or any questions, please send them in at marketing@espc.com. And we are happy to announce that we will be back in the new year with Series 3.
I'm excited about that. And we've also got one more show to go, haven't we?
Yeah, we do.
We're
going to be chatting about relocating to Dubai. So
not us.
Not us. No, we'll be staying here. But yeah, so come back and tune in next week, and you'll have our final episode of the series.
And it's first for us, isn't it? Because we're doing that one virtually. We've done everything, in our little podcast studio.
Yeah.
But just with time and obviously with distance, our chat is going to be with our relocator based in Dubai. But it should be really good.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Yeah. Cheers. Bye now.
Bye.